The billionaire sat in the defendant's seat still mocking everyone. He said these ordinary people were not worthy of tasting his top-tier coffee. But when it came to illness, he was no different from anyone else. He also had to shave his head. He had to lie on the same operating table as everyone else. His chances of survival were just as slim. The doctor told Edward that what he needed most now was his family. But there was not a single friend or relative by his side. Only his assistant stayed with him. And lying next to Edward was another old man. He was someone from the bottom of society. Carter had never seen the wonders of the world, but he had read many books. At first, Edward could not stand Carter. He could not believe he had to share a room with a dying poor man. But soon he realized they were exactly the same. The side effects of the meds made Edward vomit nonstop every day. Carter trembled in pain all through the night. And Edward also sweated in agony. But Edward slowly saw that Carter had a really good personality. When Carter was not in pain, he just quietly read books. He never complained like Edward about how unfair the world was. So Edward became curious and started talking to him. They played cards and went for walks together. Eventually they became friends. They even made a pact to fight the illness together. But the truth was Edward had only 1 year left to live, and Carter had only half a year. That night neither of them said a word. The next morning Edward found a piece of paper on the floor. It was a bucket list Carter wrote when he was feeling down. Carter wanted to take it back, but Edward refused and mocked how lame it was. Then he added a few more items to the list. Suddenly Edward said they could complete the list together. But Carter's family was firmly against the idea. They believed someone near death should not be traveling the world. But Carter had already made up his mind. He did not want to sit in a hospital waiting to die. And the first item on the list was skydiving. But once the plane door opened, Carter instantly regretted it. While falling through the air, Carter yelled at Edward the whole way. Then he pulled his parachute in a panic. Edward kept diving straight toward the ground, which made the instructor behind him very nervous. But they both landed safely in the end. The second thing on Carter's list was to drive a supercar. Edward rented the entire racetrack and bought Carter his favorite car model. Carter had never been this happy before. To get back at Edward for pushing him out of the plane, Carter crashed his car on purpose. Then Edward and Carter began traveling the world. They went to Africa to see wild animals, then to Egypt to see the pyramids. Edward even booked a top restaurant on a quiet beach. They ate the most expensive food, and finally started opening up about their own life stories.